Pau, you're next.
Thank you, Vlad. I'm Pau. I'm VP of Gaming at Smadex. My first digital job was about 20 years ago. I've been in the space. And prior to this, I worked in gaming companies for quite a long time, in German gaming companies. I also had the pleasure of working as a UA manager, publisher, and working in SDK, Fiverr. And then I lead the UA efforts here at the DSP in gaming. That's our focus. And yeah, I'm from Spain. I live in Germany for many years now. And
the fun fact?
Fun fact would be that I used to be a semi-professional e-sport player in the late 90s when there was no e-sports as such.
Trailblazer.
But I did compete and won a European championship, so I consider myself an e-sport back then. But that's it, yeah. And very deep into gaming.
Let's start with the first. With the nitty-gritty of the show. It might sound a little bit controversial, but if you were to invest into just one paid media channel, what should it be and why?
First, thanks for your question, but I would recommend nobody to do that, to only run one channel. That's number one thing I would just say. If I had to say, let's run one channel, obviously I would maybe go first for the best performing for your audience. No, that would be like a no-brainer. But what I would do is, I would say, I'm going to go to my space, I would say programmatic, and there's a reason for that. The reason is because basically there's, apart from Facebook newsfeed and maybe TikTok, where you cannot reach through Pango, pretty much every other impression out there you can buy through programmatic. Because you can buy Google through programmatic, you can compete with FAN on Facebook through programmatic buying through the networks, SDKs, you can buy CTV, you can buy mobile web, display. There's pretty much nothing you cannot buy, even out of home. So if it had to be one channel, I would do it, I would say DSP, where it allows you to concentrate all your efforts into one place, consolidation, no? And maybe have a one frequency capping for all channels. Nobody has that, no? For instance, no? That would be a dream, no? And things like that, you can actually execute there in one channel all your strategies.
Now, you mentioned programmatic. I'd like to ask to the audience, how many of the media buyers team, how many of the media buyers here work in a team that are leveraging an in-house programmatic team, or they are buying via DSP now? I am one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have like 10, a dozen of people. How many don't? A lot of shy people, guys.
Yeah, some people are lost.
A lot of shy, or you're not working in marketing. I don't know. Now, jokes aside, it seems there is like a lot of potential for some pitches here. Sorry, guys, but once a sales, always a sales. Now, share an example of a few strategy that rely heavily on programmatic that actually worked.
Yeah, I would say, I would take it a few. If you're a smaller company, just driving normal UA campaigns works, no? That's like depends on the size of the objective of the company. We see that good strategies and interesting ones is what we're running with some gaming companies, is CTV plus in-app, where the DSPs are able to leverage in-app learnings into CTV. That's amazing. You can actually execute creative testing through in-app and then do it on CTV, for instance, or use post-install events to optimize your CTV campaigns. So that's a really interesting one. We're seeing some advertisers, the very sophisticated ones, they're going that route. They can do full funnel, meaning that you can do top level, like awareness, so to speak, and then go deep in your funnel with the in-app ones.
Can you? Are you sure? Because, I mean, the main...
you can do that right now, today.
The main thing that I am hearing around is like, no, programmatic is just for awareness. It's not for performance.
Actually,
is it true or not?
Actually, the largest budget the largest budgets in programmatic in mobile are performance. I used to work in an exchange, and I can tell you that the largest budgets are all gaming, and they're all performance-based. You can run performance; it's just more difficult. It's a little bit harder than running awareness. Obviously, you need to have a proper setup, and you have to have some sort of BI internally to actually be able to push that info back to the DSP in order to optimize. Those are one of the hurdles that sometimes companies can face, no? But all in all, programmatic performance works. It's just harder, I'm not gonna lie, okay? Branding is just easier, but it does work. And then apart from that, if I would say another, apart from the CTV full funnel one, would be We are seeing more and more that gaming, I'm going to go to gaming now a little bit for a sec. Gaming companies, since the IDFA deprecation, they suffer a little bit with the targeting. They're not able to pinpoint those right users anymore. That's happening to more industries as well. So what's happening is that they are opening their apps and making them more casual, they are broadening the audience that they are targeting, no? So what's happening with that is that you are bringing people that are different into your game, and they have different LTVs. And they have different retention curves and all that. So you have to adapt your app to those people. So that means when they arrive in your app through remote config, that means you can modify the first-time user experience of the user. The user lands, and they might find a game, and someone else coming from a different channel or a different campaign, they will find a different experience in the game. To give you an example that you actually understand, if I am buying traffic from the networks, very low CPI, and I'm buying traffic from Facebook, a very high CPI, I want the guys in the high CPI to monetize through in-app purchase, because I believe that I can monetize them like that. So I will show them a game where they will not be seeing any ads, or they will see very few ads, or only a specific placement type. But if they come from a cheaper campaign, let's see from an uploading or whatever, like a network campaign, then I will trigger a different experience, and I will put a lot of ads in the game. And you can do that flexibility with DSPs. It's pretty easy, because you can actually know where they're coming from. And with these hybrid games and all this stuff, this is working pretty well. Well, for us, we are basically one media channel, so we hope that they actually diversify, no? But regarding this topic, how it affects us, no? What I do see is that when I work years in the advertising side, is that depends on how the teams are set up, no? Sometimes we see companies that they actually spread the teams around, each member of the team is specialized on one channel, no? And then we see other companies that they have different products, so there would be one person doing one product for all the channels, no? And those are the structure we normally see, no? Also in gaming. And depends on the company and different things, they will have a different setup. And now, I don't think there's a better one than the other, no? But what affects us is that we normally see that in these teams that they normally spread, that one person does all the channels, they normally give up on the hard channels. They end up going to the easy channel to put all the money there. But the channels that you actually require more work and long-term perspective, they're normally less set aside, because they rather go to where the quick money is, so to speak, where the ROAS right now is coming very easily, and don't look that much into those channels that are harder, like you were mentioning me with the programmatic.
Well, everybody loves low-hanging fruits in the end.
Yeah.
Exactly, I do understand, but that is maybe the challenge that we sometimes face. But the good thing is that with the new privacy changes, the other platforms got really hard now, so now they're coming here. So that's the good thing for us now.
Any other trends that you foresee for the future?
Yeah, well, for us, I think privacy is hitting across the board, and it's just shifting things around. I think it's all becoming a mess with the consolidation of partners. We see a lot of companies buying companies, especially last year. And
can you name one?
One
merge and acquisition that you've seen
last year. Pues, if I'm not mistaken, I was part of one, DT, for instance. We got bought, Fiverr got bought by Digital Turbine, we bought a Colony, and we built a powerhouse. I was part of one, for instance, just to give you an example. So those big powerhouses are being built up, and it's just making things harder for everyone, from the UA to the publisher side. And I think that privacy would be the main one. And the problem with privacy is that the solution for privacy would say, instead of pinpointing the right users and that your SDK, that finds the users for you, now you have to go back and find them like you used to find them in 2014 on Facebook with newsfeed and all your campaigns. So it's basically back to creative, back to square one, so to speak. So all these AI technologies around creative, I think that's going to be the shift. That will allow maybe to produce massively, much more, and be able to test rapidly. Because right now, one of the problems we had is to produce, right? If you want to produce 150 variations of a video, it just takes time and money. And now with all these AI tools, we'll be able to actually pinpoint the users better through creatives. And I think that's the way the industry is moving forward. And you see a lot of companies releasing nice creative products, and being acquired as well, like Luna Labs from IronSource, just to give you an example. So I think that's the industry is moving towards creative and how that combines with their privacy issues.
I was wondering if outside of ROI, there is any other critical data points that you consider when measuring the success or a failure of a channel?
Our clients ask for two things, ROAS and scale. That's all they want, okay? Now, how do we get there? ROAS will basically try to find whales or pay users, no? Or ad whales, no? People who watch a lot of ads, monetize heavily on monetization, or to buy stuff. That's what we try to do. And then we combine those with other traffic that will be users, okay, that will retain in your app, that will generate some revenue. You will break even with them. But it's a mixture of both. You cannot have both. You cannot have all whales, and you cannot have super scale with low ROAS because it will not work out. So our metrics where we mostly focus on are down funnel metrics, no, as you can imagine. And we also focus a lot on retention. Retention is one of the most important metrics that we have. So our models, our algorithms, no, they're very focused on payments and retention, and those are the metrics that we see. Each client will be different. They will have a slightly different objectives, but it all's the same, always the same, ROAS and scale, okay? And it just comes to how you manage that, no? And for that you have to analyze how their app is, and then figure out the different strategies, no? Depending on how they monetize. So the first thing you understand how they monetize, and then you have a few tricks, no, to get to those guys, and yeah, that's how we do it.
Any emerging channels, tactics, tools that you're looking at the moment, or you think is going to be promising for the
SKAN, I think it's going to be a new one.
Dropping the bomb. Yeah.
Want to go a little bit deeper on that?
We think SKAN is going to hit, and it's going to hit hard. That's what we think. We are working close with Apple, and we know that it's, I mean, if you look at the SKAN share of impressions, no? Impressions that you can sign with SKAN a month ago were about 6%, and last week they turned to 25%. So we know that Q2 will be the quarter where SKAN will come up. Now we don't know what the effect of DAO is going to be. It depends. I've been talking to a lot of top advertisers in the last months around this topic, and there are different opinions. Some say it's going to happen that eventually they might just block one of these big apps with the SDK, no, that can do fingerprinting, and there's no more fingerprinting. That's one of the theories that is out there. And others people say, no, it will just coexist until SKAN is actually good enough. SKAN is pretty good. No, it's better than SKAN obviously. And, and the advantage, the most important thing of SKAN is the second conversion value. That is, how the system works is that you get information the first 3 days, and then you get more information of what happens after the 7th day. And then you get another conversion value after 3, you get 3, no? So it's the second one that is the key element. And everybody's trying to figure out a way to optimize towards the second conversion value. And whoever gets that, we might get the whole cake. So that's what's happening. Now the reality is that since Facebook is so strong and they've been running SKAN all this time, Facebook, everyone is waiting for the event integration, so to speak, with Facebook, no? To understand how Facebook is gonna set up the events. And then once we know that will happen very, very soon, I think it's just a rollout. Everybody will just start using SKAN. That's a very possible solution that we might see in the second half of the year, way more campaigns with SKAN than we're expecting. Yeah.
Any other thoughts here?
I have a lighter one, because I don't want to drop the bomb, but for me, going back to the challenges that we discussed around testing, creative, and so on, I think the AI integration with what we're doing and the different product would be something.
I think the AI will be able to optimize creatives, but not create them. Like if you think about creatives in a way that you have a theme, variation, iteration, right? And those are like the levels of the creatives. AI could go into iteration and variation, but AI will not be able to create you a theme. That's something a human has to do. Now, the machine can then go and take that theme and explore it and do whatever they want and blah, 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 blah. But the theme itself will probably end up, always will come from a human. And that's where your brand team will be safe, the jobs, you know. But it's the other part, the automation of all the boring stuff. Creating me 10,000 variations in 10 different colors, blah, blah. automated, AI.
1 minute left, so you have like 25 seconds each. Leave the audience with just one takeaway that they can implement today while leaving the conference.
If I had to keep one, like go do it now, it's time's up. I would say if you're running video, try some M-Rate video. If you've never heard of that, go check it out. That's what I would do.